I'm super excited to welcome Matt Giggs here today. Matt Giggs is super famous in the UK amongst estate agents. He is a real estate guru of gurus and he owns multiple estate agency, including a luxury brand estate agency, and he coaches and mentors estate agents. So he's here to talk all things property. Matt, you are so welcome.
Oh, bless you. It's been a lovely welcome the last 24 hours, actually. It's been fantastic coming to Waterford.
You're enjoying Waterford and Dungarvan?
Dungarvan was just a pleasure to just arrive there. It was such a warm welcome, and it's been exactly the same here in Waterford as well.
Did you know, Matt, that Waterford has been voted Ireland's best place?
I saw that as I drove in. I saw that. Was it the Irish Times?
Yes.
Yeah, see, I spotted
readers
that.
Voted it.
The readers, I'm not surprised.
Yes.
It's a beautiful place.
This is the sunny southeast and the oldest city in Ireland.
Is it really?
Yeah, the oldest city in Ireland.
It feels really nice. It's got a really good feel to it. I think you can pick those vibes up when you meet the people.
Yeah, and you're popping along to Waterford Crystal.
Yes, the museum. And
yes.
1 or 2 pubs.
Yes, very good.
Yes.
Great. Well, look, we better get down to business now and talk about pubs, Matt. So, Matt, I want to ask you, you deal with a lot of buyers and you coach an awful lot of estate agents. Yeah. Do you find clients saying to you, how are we going to buy a property? We need to sell our house first.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to buyers and sellers around this issue they need to navigate?
We'll start with the end in mind. That's if you was going to run a business, if you're going to run an estate agency, any type of industry, you need to start with the end in mind. And I say exactly the same to the clients that we work with. What's the end goal? What's the outcome you're looking for? And together we'll work our way back from there. And if you've got a very clear goal, whether it's a capital difference, whether it's a downsize, whether it's a locational move, everything starts with the end in mind. It's a lot easier when you know where you're heading to work your way back. So that's the first point that I would always advise customers to do.
Very good. And what does that actually mean for people, in your mind, from the experiences, and people you've met?
Yeah, I think if you take most people downsizing want to achieve some equitable difference. So they're looking at releasing equity, releasing capital, maybe to clear their mortgage. So that's an example of a downsizer. So it could be 100, 200,000 or euro in this country, and you've got that gap, that difference. So that's the goal as the agent, is to achieve the difference and then work back with the customer or the vendor and the buyer as to how they're going to achieve that. So it's about then working towards a plan.
And in your experience, do you find that most people who want to downsize, they have to sell their current home that they're living in?
Yeah.
So what tips would you give to somebody in that situation?
Well, first of all, do you need to go into a position where you have to sell first, or can you release equity to buy first? There's different options, including separate buyer finance. There's different options that I'd encourage people to explore, because if you're in a strong chain-free position and your market's quite tight with what's out there and there's lack of stock available, that could be the reason behind you not buying your dream home. So if you can be in a buying position where you've got no chain, obviously look at those options first, which would be about raising separate capital finance.
That's not easy in Ireland because we don't have the same volume of lenders. We've 8 lenders in the market. It was 3, it's growing, and banks don't do bridging loans anymore. Okay. So most of the people that we're meeting
would need to sell their existing
sell in order to buy. And Daft recently shared some data with us, which I thought was interesting, that 48% of buyers right now have to sell their home. Well, it's a proper chicken and egg situation.
Well, it's probably the most effective, lower cost way of going about it is to list your home first. It's the thing that people won't want to do naturally. I don't want to let someone down. I don't want to sell my house and not have somewhere to go. It's the most common objections. However, if you find the dream home, you often or not, do you have to pay a higher price for it if you haven't sold? Do you have to go in at a place, an offer where you feel that you're going to lose out? And that means invariably they're going to have to pay a lot more for their onward purchase, the one that they really want, the dream home, and then list theirs under desperation. And when you list under desperation, you could be losing 5 to 10% of equity. So if you work those two stats out, it's really it could be losing up to 10 or 15% of equity by wanting to find first, as opposed to take control of your timeframes, go to market, stage your home, make it look the best that you can, have an end of mind, end of plan, exit goal in place with your agent, and then work your way through that process. And most good agents, like yourselves here at Liberty Blue, will go and actively find properties for customers who are committed, not just interested, but committed in going to market. Because if you're committed in going to market and you've got the right property come available, you're likely to go and view the property. Most customers in the UK aren't keen on having people look at their homes if they're not on the market. They feel like it's a bit of a waste of their time, and I can kind of understand why. So if you're on the market first, sussing out the interest, we can test it at a higher price, see how it goes for 4, 6, 8 weeks, see where the market's going to be. That could be the difference of 10% of your equity. What's the average house price in this area, if you don't mind me asking?
300,000.
So you're talking £30,000 worth of equity that you could lose by trying to find first. And I can give you all the stats in our area where people make that wrong decision.
And it's funny, I don't know, I believe in the law of attraction. In most experiences where we have put the property in the market because our clients needed to sell in order to buy, as it was on the market, these properties
100%.
came to them and they were able to navigate the journey. But I say organise a loading bay, I call it a loading bay, a property that you can go to temporarily when you get the right buyer, so that you have that breathing space before you move into your dream home.
I think there's so many options that people aren't aware of. And if you're a proactive agent, which you guys are, you're going to have 2, 3 different options for that client who's got those fears, natural fears going on through their mind, which is why you start with the end in mind and come up with 2, 3, 4 different solutions to move around that objection.
Very good. Now, as you are a guru of gurus, and the UK market, from our experience, is quite ahead in terms of marketing in real estate. And we haven't prepared this now, so Matt doesn't know what I'm going to ask him. But in terms of if you were selling your home and you know the business inside out, what kind of things would you expect your agent to do for you to make sure that your house got in front of as many eyeballs as possible and therefore getting you the best price?
Well, let's talk about the fact that I haven't found somewhere. Let's stay on that tune, that theme. I would want my agent to test the off market first. I'd want them to see if the price that we hope we can achieve is going to be achievable through their existing database. So if your agent hasn't got an existing database, I would probably avoid going through them, because you're never really going to work on an open market strategy without knowing whether the off-market relationship's there. So are we going on at the wrong or the right price? Before you kind of fully launch it out there onto the open market, you want to understand whether this is the right place to go. Is this the right price point? Are we showing the right images? Do we know the target market clear enough? I would probably encourage people that are in a position where they want to find first to use an off-market agent for at least 2 to 4 weeks, see how it feels, and then get the feedback before you fully launch. And then once you've fully launched, you're in a better, stronger position to go forward.
And what kind of things are really important for people? I mean, I know this stuff, but I wanted you to share it from your perspective. When you're marketing a property, what kind of things should you expect from your agent?
Well, it's really interesting because people buy with emotion, not logic. So if you look at everybody, in fact, I would say in Ireland, I've noticed a difference that actually more people are in conversations in the bars that I've been to so far, which is quite nice to see. However, people do gaze into their handsets. They're looking into their phones. They're looking into videos. They're watching social media. And it's social media that's going to be the driver of some of the views of your property. So people are going to be looking at videos of properties, which actually, if you think about any estate agent that you're going to be listing with today, on average, I mean, you do videos of properties, right? Is that right?
Always.
Always. And what's the average amount of eyeballs that you get on a listing?
Oh, we had a farm for sale in West Waterford with over 70,000 people look at the video alone. And
so would anybody want their property in front of that many people? Now, we don't believe that 70,000 people are going to be interested in it, right?
Or maybe one,
but
2 or 3.
You've got a damn good chance of finding that 1 or 2. And it's not actually from the video that they go. They normally go to a link. They normally find the details somewhere. They'll search it out, because people look around 2 or 3 different formats before they finally make the inquiry. So for me, video is a really, really important part of marketing and attracting the right buyer on the lifestyle and the emotion.
For sure. And beautiful photos. Have you ever looked at photos of a property and wondered what is going on?
I've often said to clients, don't speed to market doesn't mean speed of sale. Slow down to speed up further down the line. Let's declutter. Let's get the house prepared. Let's make sure your home stands out, because it can make a significant difference to your equity value. And what's interesting is if you said to someone, it could make the difference of 5% of your net equity. It could be 5, 10, 15, 20,000 pounds because of the first impression. And when I was 14, I was in a football environment. I was a professional footballer, budding professional footballer. I was an apprentice at the time, and I was kind of going through that process. In the dressing room, we used to have these quotes, and on the wall there was this quote that said, "You never get a second chance to make a first impression."
Oh, that's true.
And it's so true in marketing. Imagine that first impression going out there and it actually just falls flat. Same with the pricing strategy, same with the videography. Get those things right. So you should be looking for agents who get those things right. They take pride in the appearance of your home, the first impression, the emotion, the lifestyle. They know who your buyer is before they just hope someone else finds it. They target, they understand the right buying.
And it's funny, I often hear people saying, well, look, the market's crazy busy. It's fine. I don't have time to paint. And I'm saying it makes a huge difference. It doesn't matter how busy the market is, how many buyers. You do get a premium price if your house is presented beautiful, because in my experience, Matt, most people can't visualize.
Well, senses, right? Imagine we walked into, I think it was a bar earlier. I'm not just sitting in bars, by the way, but it was recently decorated. And you walk in and you can smell the paint. You can smell the freshness of the room. Are you telling me those things don't help encourage the experience to move forward more positively?
Absolutely.
So make every effort. Listen, it's going to make such a difference and take you further forward faster. So in my opinion, put every effort in, spend time getting rid of things that you're not going to take with you, right? Make your house look like a home for the buying market you're looking to attract.
Very good. I often say, you're packing for the move. It's not wasted, You're going
to save time.
Absolutely.
And actually increase your equity.
And for any agents watching, have you one last final piece of wisdom, Matt Giggs-Goro?
Well, I just said, start with the end in mind. If you're an agent that puts your needs first, you're in the past. If you're in the future as an agent now, you're looking at your client's needs first and then working backwards from there. So always work on the client's needs, the goals, their outcome, and then draw it back to a place where actually you can build a plan with them and work with them to get to their goal, as opposed to you just getting a sale.
Fantastic. And finally, I suppose to wrap up, I have heard you say this, and I strongly feel the same. We're in the business of people. We're in the business of helping people. The house is actually the commodity. It's about helping people navigate their journey. Sometimes the journey is a happy one and sometimes it's a sad one. And it does require empathy and understanding, doesn't it? And really good communication.
Communication. I was talking to my dad last night over a couple of beers. But we were talking about qualification versus communication. So actually, qualifications are important if you need them in a particular field, especially if you're looking at law or those kind of subjects. But in a estate agency, it's about your communication. That is so essential. It's so important to be able to empathize, understand, listen, and then help the client to see the journey forward. And if you've got that ability to listen and ask questions, you will make a difference. If you're just going in there to sell, believe me, people will smell that a country mile away.
Absolutely. And I love that. Begin with the end in mind. Of course, it's one of the 7 habits of Covenants. Begin with the end in mind. Seek win-win. A win-win.
Seek to understand.
Always, and seek to understand. But I love the win-win, because I think in any sale or business deal, when you have a win-win situation, everyone is happy. And after all, we love happy clients. Thank you so much, Matt Giggs. And as I always say, slán go fóill.